Hey Mike, Jessica Peterson here with Peterson SEO. Thank you so much for speaking with me earlier and accepting this free video. I'm super excited that you did because today I'm going to talk to you about a few strategies you can start applying, and it's going to make a big difference for your business. And I know that it will because I've applied these similar strategies with over 50 other restoration businesses just like you guys, and it's made a huge impact in their businesses. Now, right now, you guys have zero organic traffic coming to your website, so you are missing out on over 80% of the available jobs in each of the markets that you're serving, okay? And before I get started, I wanted to let you know that your Houston Google Business Profile link takes us to this page not found. And so you definitely want to update your Google Business Profile links to make sure it's actually bringing you to the proper pages. Now, here we are on your website, okay? And I'm not seeing that you have, at least up here in your navigation, you don't have any service pages, okay? So that's a big problem, number one. I do like that you have a form up at the top, because once you get people to your website, you want to be able to convert them. So having click-to-call phone numbers and a form at top really does help with that conversion. We've found that forms at the top up here can increase conversions by 80%. So making sure all of your pages have that right at the top is going to be important for you guys. Now, here we are seeing that you guys serve nationwide. Is that true? Do you guys serve all states, all cities? Or are you just in major hubs? Because the advice that I give you is really going to be dependent on where your service area actually is. Now, when Google ranks a website, okay, and indexes you and helps customers find you, it's based on content. So you do need a lot of content. You do need a separate page for every service that you're offering, okay? Google wants those separate pages so you can dedicate an entire page all about that one topic. How does water damage happen? What is your process to solve this situation? And answering the most common questions focused around those keywords. Now, if you are truly a national company, you might want to look at some of your franchise competitors, okay? What they'll do is they'll do the home page and service pages around national keywords that you compete with your competition across the entire US, okay? If you're more local and you're only servicing a handful of areas, then you might want a local strategy, okay? Depending on which way you go. So your homepage here is the most important page of the website because it's supposed to tie all your pages together. And they all need to kind of interlink together. The content of the homepage needs to be at least 1,500 words or more. Depending on what your competition is doing, you'll need more than they are, okay? So if they have 1,500 words, you're going to need like 2,000 words, okay? Everything on your website needs to be optimized. That means all images and videos need to be optimized with keywords. Woman holding bucket during water 2024, okay? That is not an optimized image. You want them optimized with keywords. 90% of the time when people need services, especially these emergency services, they don't know who you are, so they're not going to be searching your brand name. As important as it is, you have to focus on the keywords people are actively searching. So your content needs to be built around those keywords. So it's great that you have a little bit of information about some of these services. Now, these should be interlinking to the actual pages for these services. But it doesn't appear that you have those pages. So you do need those pages at the bare minimum, okay? You have to have those pages. And then, so we have 4 major areas here that you serve. And these also don't have pages. So if you're national, okay, if you're a national company, you're servicing the entire U.S., I would have your homepage and all your service that you offer, okay, none of these have pages. They all need pages, and they need to be linking back to those pages. Then in your service areas, you need service area pages. So whether you break them up by state or location, or if these are just your 4 major areas that you serve, okay, then you would have a page or pages dedicated to each of these areas for your services. That way you're actually going to be found for your services. Competing on a national level for national keywords takes a lot of time and money, okay, to be competitive and compete against all these national franchises. So being able to also have these service area pages allows you to compete on a local level against local competition as well as the franchisees in those locations. So it's really important that you have those pages, the right structure, and everything to actually be competitive. Google is sending crawlers to your website to be able to index your website. It scans through every single image, all of this written information, okay, to try and understand what your business is about, what type of services are you offering, and where are you offering those services. So when you don't actually have those dedicated pages, you don't have the right content, the images aren't optimized, you're missing out on Google having that understanding. And if Google doesn't understand, there's no way they can send people to your website, okay? So having each of these elements is absolutely critical for you guys. Now, if we look at just the Houston market and just water damage, your top competitor is SERVPRO, okay? So this is the SERVPRO page for Houston. But you'll notice that they still have separate page for each of their services. All of their locations, all of their franchisees have their own set of pages. Okay? Now, if you're competing on a local level, you're not competing against an entire franchise, but just the franchisees. And these franchisees are not allowed, for most of the franchises, especially SERVPRO, are not allowed to modify this. They just kind of get these generic pages. And so you just have to do better than they're doing, having more content, right? Better quality content, more pages, more long form blogs, and then it's absolutely beatable on these local areas, okay? So even though it's highly competitive, competing on a national level against national keywords, you can compete on local areas. So if you wanted to target, 1 or 2 cities first and then expand over time, you could absolutely do that. But you just have to do better. You have to know what your competition is in that area and what you need to do. But this should give you some basic kind of how-to information. And I'm absolutely, I can absolutely answer any questions that you have and go into this a little bit deeper with you if you would like. But content and keyword strategy through your website is absolutely going to be critical no matter which path you're going on, okay? So now we know when your customers do a search in Google, okay, they're going to do a search similar to this up here, okay? And when they do, we want your business to be what's showing up. Now there's three main spots on the first page of Google your business has the opportunity to be in top positions for. And those are generally going to be cost per click ads and local service ads in the first positions. And this can be lucrative if that's what you want to do, as long as you have all your processes dialed in and you're using proper landing pages for your ads and not just sending them to your basic website where they're going to get lost and not have conversion. Okay. The second set here, this is your Google Business Profile, Google Map Pack section. And 30% of people come straight here and don't go anywhere else. So you want to be in that top 3 to capture that. When you're not, you're leaving 30% of your business on the table and letting your customers choose your competitors. So you need to optimize your profile in each of your areas and make sure that you have more citations. And citations is simply listing the name of your business, the address, phone number, and website, and putting it on a bunch of directories like Yellow Pages, Yelp, Glassdoor, Better Business Bureau, Angie's, House, and even social media profiles. Okay, so you need more of those than your competition. And that will help to give you a good boost in the maps. And this third section here, this is actually your organic section. This is the most important section because 60 to 70% of people will skip over the maps and the ads and they'll come right here and click to the website. So when your website doesn't show up in the organic section, you are losing 60 to 70% of the available jobs in each of your markets every single month. So in order for your website to actually show up here, it comes back down to the foundation of this website. Do you have the proper pages, content, and keyword strategy? And then are you supporting that strategy with a backlink SEO strategy? So we look here. This is Ahrefs, a paid tool we use to show how your website is performing. And we can see here you have a rating of a 0 out of 100 in Google's trust flow. So Google doesn't trust your website. And that is because of the quality of your website as well as the power you send to your website. Your website is a tool, and like most tools, we know require power. And so power is done with backlinks. And backlinks are simply links coming from somebody else's website over to your website. Okay? And so you do need a lot of these backlinks. You need better quality links and more of them than your competition. It's important to understand, though, not all links are good. Okay? Some of them can actually hurt you. So we only want to be going after good quality do follow links that are closely related to the services you're offering. So these oftentimes are going to come from other home service business websites, vendors, and directories, etc. Okay? As you get those good quality links, this score is going to increase. Google's trust in your website increases, and it's going to promote your website higher in the rankings and help you ranking those organic keywords. Okay? So right now, your website doesn't really have any content. There's no keyword strategy, and so you have 0 keywords indexed, and you're getting 0 traffic to your website. Now, when we look at your competitor, okay, SERVPRO, the franchise as a whole, has a 75. So if you were competing on a national level against SERVPRO, there'd be a lot of work that we have to do here. But competing at the local level, so if you're focusing on the first couple cities, you're competing on a local level. So this local area has a rating of 4.5. They're not doing any SEO, which makes sense because the franchise doesn't allow them to do what they need to do, modifying the content to be able to apply an SEO strategy. So because this website has so much power, it's actually able to push the power to each of these service areas, each of these franchisee pages, to help them to rank. So this power is really important. This one specific location in Houston has 88 keywords indexed and is getting over 1,800 people to their website every single month. And this is just one of the locations in Houston, okay? And when we look at those keywords, we can see that they are actually ranking. There's 10 spots per page on Google. So they're actually ranking for these keywords. And when we look, there's over 2,000 in searches and just this handful of keywords that you're missing out on. And this is just in the Houston market, okay? And it looks like, for the most part, these are just water damage keywords. So just one service, this one location, over 2,000 searches every single month you're missing out on by not having these strategies in place. So, yes, it is beatable, right? These competitors are beatable. But it is going to take the strategies that I have just shown you today. So please feel free to take this information I've shown you, run with it, and apply it yourself. But if you'd rather focus on what you guys do best and have a partner in this strategy, at Peterson SEO, this is our specialty. And we specialize in working with restoration companies just like you guys. So please feel free to reach out with any questions that you might have. You can reply to my email, give us a call, and we'd be happy to chat. Thank you so much for watching, and I do look forward to hearing from you soon.